Hello, I'm Dick.
I'm Dave.
And this is Comic Blender.
That's right.
What we're going to do tonight is talk about what we do every single week. It's going to be some really sweet stuff came out this week, so we're talking about that. We're going to talk about what we thought was really bad, which to be honest,
wasn't much there.
There
that was
really
bad
was.
This week.
Yeah, there was.
I was racking my brain trying to come up with something.
It was a good week this week, so we're going to be touching a little bit about that later on in the show. Of course, we're always going to give you the Geek of the Week, the Picks of the Week, and so on and so forth. Everything you guys love to watch. And be sure, people, to keep sending in those emails. We complained about it last week, and believe it or not, our complaints actually worked. We got a significant amount of emails this past
kind of worked
week.
out for us.
Yeah, more geeks.
Yeah, that geek was
funny. That geek is pretty decent.
Yeah.
So thanks for sending those emails. Keep them coming. You're gonna get the comics of your choice. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Let's get the ball rolling here. And Dave, what's your pick of the week? First one.
Well, my first one was X Factor number 11.
Excellent.
The writer on this one was Peter David, and he continues to rock my socks off, man. It's awesome. Captain Arlem is drawing on this one, and if you might remember from Son of M, we have flashbacks illustrated by Roy Allen Martinez.
Yeah,
He's doing the
awesome.
choice work. Speaking of flashbacks, the book starts off with one. You start getting a little taste of Jamie's folks back home on the country house out there in the fields.
Yeah.
They're pretty funny, man. They told a little story about Jamie's birth, about when the doctor slapped him, he fell into two entities, So, I mean, it was weird. That was actually brought up that it was
great.
odd that that he had his mutant ability right when he was delivered instead of waiting until his adolescent years.
Yeah,
so that was pretty
gene
cool.
to develop or whatever.
Yeah, the whole setting of the scene was Mr. Tripp. You might remember him from earlier issues of this one. He visits Jamie's parents to try to persuade them, instead of going to the Xavier school, that he goes to a Singularity instead. After he's shot down, we get pulled up to speed with current events of what's happening with this one. Before you know it, X Factor realizes that they're trapped inside of some locked room mystery. Yeah, they're trying to figure this one out. Something goes down in a locked vault at a bank, and Guido's there with the guy that gets. He basically escapes from the vault, and they're trying to figure out how. But before they even get around to scratching the surface on this one, Wolfsbane smells something funny about Guido. And basically, her getting riled up and, starting to get, furry on him. He actually goes after the rest of the team, and Quicksilver comes in, and he has a complex situation, and basically I'm not going to do it any justice by explaining it to you, so just go do yourself a favor and read this one. Apparently Guido had been brainwashed, in a sense, from Singularity Investigations, and, using him as a mole in X Factor was pretty cool.
Right on.
But they wrap it up with a bomb threat getting into Singularity Investigations, and you see M grabbing little Jamie Boohind in this one. It's kind of cool.
Good.
Last page cliffhanger featuring Mr. Tripp.
I love X Factor, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Peter David, I've been reading it since it came out. You and I were all hyped out about it. We're like, finally some Madrix action, because Madrix had that 5-issue run Once Upon a Time, and that was good, and this is good, and X Factor is just good.
That's right.
It's great stuff. I'm glad you picked it.
What's up with you, dude?
I'm going to be picking Robin 154.
Cool.
We have Beecham writing it. We have Williams doing the art. This is a brand new run, so it's always good. This is a good opportunity for you. If you haven't picked up Robin before, you can just jump right in. I'll give you a little catch up what's going on with this one. Bruce Wayne adopted Tim Drake, so we have that going on. That's just a little bit of part of the story, and it's so small, but it becomes such a major part of the story because there's these people. There's a small faction of people, if you will, who are going and stealing all these rich kids. This is what's happening, and it's just they keep going, keep stealing kids, and then sure enough. There's this Forbes magazine, and it has Bruce with Tim looking up I love you, Dad, or whatever, and ends up being this little plot to get these people to come steal Robin, which is pretty sweet, I think. So already the comic is giving you this sweet little plot line. It starts off with Robin just being sweet, just kicking butt. Awesome. He was freaking trained by Batman. You know what I mean? This guy knows how to rock out, and he just rides on his bike, and he's like, Dad, what's up? And he just, and it's cool because there's this little inner monologue while he's like, moves this way, and then he kicks that way, and he swings that way. It's a cool little action comic.
Right on. I love the action.
It's the only downside to this comic is that there's this character who showed up in this last arc. His name's Dodge, and he's this absolutely annoying character. He's just this little punk kid who has this ability to transport or whatever. He can jump in not so much time, but in space, and he's really annoying, and in the last issue he was like, Robin, you gotta teach me, and Robin's like, dude, no, you're a kid, and he's like, you're just a kid yourself, and whatever, and it's really annoying. But as always, there's this really cool. As always, there's always the fun side to reading this comic. It's not very serious, and it doesn't try to take you down some sort of serious path. Death, or I'm depressed, or whatever, something, whatever. It's a good, fun comic to read, and especially since it's a brand new arc, you can pick it up and you can enjoy it from this one.
So you can just jump in the middle of the arc and be cool.
Right.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
That's good advice.
All right, Dave. What's your second?
I jumped on X-Men First Class 1 of 8. Writer is Jeff Parker, and Roger Cruz is cool on this book. He's taking the X-Men's First Class in a kind of cartoony appeal, and it's a lot of fun. It's not so serious. It's a little lighter and stuff, and it's cool because throughout the book, Iceman, Bobby Drake, is basically narrating in the style of a letter to mom from college,
cool.
kind of stuff.
Cool.
And it was a lot of fun. You've seen it before, but it's fun experiencing their inexperience. They're a young class, and they're still learning how to work together and all this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like I said, you've seen it before, but it's still fun. There was a cool little Iceman Wolverine jab in here. I mean, he forms claws out of ice and stuff and was fighting, and Jean Grey's just like, oh yeah, that'll never work, kind of stuff, and it was kind of cute. It has a current look for for their life as students and as opposed to their origin, rather, instead of an up to date style of timeline. They use items that really wouldn't exist in the original origin setting of their thing going on there. They use Xboxes and computers and an updated Cerebro and whatnot. They even refer to the IMAX theater and stuff like that.
Wow.
What really happens in this is pretty much Scott is the same as always, the same kind of character you've always seen him as, so that's not one of the high points of the book. As is Beast and Jean Grey, they're kind of their typical self, but Scott's just kind of boring most fun.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Cyclops.
Yeah, Professor Xavier uses a cool little snowmobile wheelchair thing when they get to Greenland on a part of their story there. It's funny.
Mr. Plow, that's my name, that name again is Mr. Plow.
Right. Alright. Anyways, Angel proves to be the rebel of the group, and he's really insubordinate in the class when Xavier's trying to teach a lesson about mutants in history and how they would fit into society and history and stuff. But he's like, I don't need you learning, old man. I'm out of here, and he flies out the window and stuff like that. But Xavier catches up to him and molds his mind into the lesson he was intending, and it kind of opens Angel's mind, and eventually he's probably going to slow down on the insubordinates number. The wrap-up is a little abrupt on this comic, but it's a fun read.
Right. It is 8 issues. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 8 issues, so go ahead and give it a chance. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I think it's kind of interesting to have a nice little beginning story to X-Men, considering the whole Deadly Genesis thing, where there was missions that happened in back then. It's kind of cool to have, I guess, not so much a fresh start, but a new chance to make a different little story.
I mean, Mythos went pretty much along with their typical origin, but this book totally different from what you've seen them before when they were coming out of things.
That's cool.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
What else?
I picked O.C.T. number 2. Occult Crimes Task Force. Yes, I picked it. Right we have Rosario Dawson, who's co-writing it. We have Shasteen, who's doing the art or whatever. The art is very good in this book. It's all Photoshop stuff or whatever, but it's really good, and it's very easy on the eyes. There's a lot of emotion, obviously, with everybody's face and everything, and the movement flows pretty decent, all because it is Photoshop or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that'd be pretty impressive if that was all like portrait pencil like that.
Yeah, if somebody drew that well, just hands down, Nobel Prize or something. I don't know. The first one was all right. The first issue, number 1, was pretty decent, but in this one, it's picking up. It all has to do with this whole Soul Reaper thing, Soul Ripper that's going around just killing people, whatever, and